I'm not quite so tall, so I can put that down. Did any of you guys have a problem ironing these things? Wow. Dear honored guests, fellow graduating students, mentors, teachers, families, friends, current students, and prospective students, welcome to the WGU Indiana graduating class of 2013. I began this journey over 34 years ago. I am by no means a spring chicken. I didn't know exactly what I wanted, but I knew I wanted to get my college degree. Growing up, we all have dreams. I was fortunate to have two. I either wanted to be a nurse or a teacher like my dad. Well, I didn't become a nurse, almost, but I was a paramedic for 30 years, fairly close. My decision to get my degree kind of dropped into my lap very unexpectedly. I had been sick for almost a year, and my job left me. I didn't know what I was going to do. My career of almost 30 years evaporated. And I discovered that I had no marketable skills other than being a paramedic. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to support my family? Well, one night while I was on the internet looking for jobs, I came across a banner that said, Governor institutes 8th State University. Well, that article was already 12 days old. It was June 28th when I looked at it, 2010. I clicked on that link, and the rest, as they would say, history. I've been fascinated with the idea of going to online school. I had looked at several others, but they were telling me what I should do. Oh, you should try this field of study. Well, that's not what I wanted. I wanted my education under my terms and the degree path that I wanted. So I was excited also that the cost was within my grasp. I was a newly single parent of 3 children. Where was I going to come up with, 5-digit expenses every year? And here it was a state university, so it was eligible for financial aid. Then I discovered that all those college credits that I'd earned many years ago were actually transferable. I had looked at other colleges. Even the college that granted me those college credits told me they had expired, and that my job experience had no bearing on whether or not I could get a college degree. I was very disheartened and very disappointed. But after talking with my enrollment counselor, I began to get very excited about going back to school. And when Jessica asked me when I wanted to start, I said immediately. Well, apparently 2 days is not enough time to get into the next program, even for her. I mean, she was really good. But on August 1st, 2010, I was officially a college student, again, after 31 years of leaving formal college education. I did my studies in the house when everybody else was asleep. That first semester was difficult because I had gotten sick again. I was afraid I wasn't going to finish that class that I was working on. I ended up in the hospital for a week, had surgery. Afterwards, I had IV infusions for 4 hours at a time, twice a day, for the entire month of January. Of course, my term ended January 31st. So I spent hours and hours using the hospital's Wi-Fi, thank God, and was able to get all my research for that PowerPoint presentation for IWT1. And it passed that last week before the end of my term, so hallelujah. Getting into cohort for my demonstration teaching was also challenging. Of course, I wasn't accepted the first time, but I appealed and I was accepted. But when I got that first rejection, I'll admit it, I cried. I'm like, no, you can't turn me down. But, there I was. After I had gotten accepted, then I started the task stream stalking. Did they pick up my task? Did it pass? I never got a speedy grader, ever. Was I going to have to do a revision again? Then that day came where I was fully accepted into my cohort and my demonstration teaching. It flew by so quickly. I discovered I loved being in the classroom. I didn't care who watched me, even my clinical supervisor. Sometimes I forgot she was even in the room. The students learned, I learned, even my host teacher and my clinical supervisor learned. It was a win situation. So that's what this is all about. The experience was life-changing, and every minute was worth it. Every night, the 2 a.m. crawling into bed, getting up at 6, off to school again. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it up every morning. I worked night shift for almost 30 years. So how was I going to get up and get to school and be able to face all those little shining faces and be able to do what I was supposed to do? By golly, I was going to do it. I got up every morning. I was only late once, and that was because of an insulin reaction. Oh well. But I managed to make it to school every day, even if I wasn't feeling well. I put on a happy smile for those kids because they deserved it. And I spent every evening and every weekend working to make sure that I was giving them a quality education that they deserved. And that's what I had been taught throughout my WGU experience. I created educational games, Jeopardy games for unit reviews, rummaged through all the materials that I have in my house. And trust me, my kids say I have plenty that something would make. I just reminded myself that once DT was over, I could finally sleep. So my goal was to finish in 3 years. So after 2 years and 8 months of coursework, 2 laptop computers, 1 hospitalization, 4 snow days after the last scheduled snow day makeup was in there, so I had an extra week of DT, I completed my degree. One of the most rewarding aspects of this journey was to see my son go back to college and start working on his degree, because apparently he thinks if mom can do it, he certainly can. And one final note. In January of 2011, there was a college mixer at a local coffee shop in Fort Wayne. It was well attended. Chancellor Barber was there, board member Linda Buskirk, and myself. Well, 2 years later, there was another college mixer in Fort Wayne at a local restaurant. We packed it. This shows you what WGU of Indiana has done for the residents and the citizens of the state of Indiana. Thank you very much.